wanted to put in, this time of year, our campus is absolutely gorgeous. We're lucky to have, to be on the Beth Elm campus, and we have access to the whole campus. So we have the beautiful space you've just seen. We have all of these green fields and outdoor stages that they use where we can go and play with the children and go on nature walks and explore all the beautiful open spaces we have around us. This time of year, the trees are spectacular. So we've been taking the kids around, collecting leaves, collecting acorns, sort of really engaging in the natural space around us. So we're Spanish Immersion. What does that actually mean? It means that all class instruction, all interactions with children, and all materials are given only in Spanish. Why do we do that? It's because it's the best way to sort of accelerate language. So if you're going to do an immersion program, you want to do it where the teachers are really giving all instruction and everything the kids see is in Spanish. That creates a native-like language environment. They build fluency, they have increased vocabulary, you get more native-like accents, and you really develop those benefits of a bilingual brain. The teachers, for some children who haven't had exposure to Spanish, the teachers create a very intriguing environment. So as you saw, the children were very engaged. We put things out that just call to the children's natural curiosity. And that call is sort of stronger than them going, okay, but I don't understand what you're saying. So our teachers are very enthusiastic. They use a lot of music, a lot of props, a lot of theater, a lot of amazing experiences in order to pull the children into the space and give them the language that they would get in a native preschool. So if a child were to go to South America or to Spain or to Mexico, you'd see the same exact things in a preschool in those countries. It's very interesting. I had a conversation yesterday with someone, and they were saying about, how are the kids being bilingual? Is it possible for them to be trilingual? And we have quite a few families at our school where the children are trilingual. We have Farsi, we have Japanese, we have Mandarin, we have all kinds of children that come with languages already, and they just build on that. It's amazing how when the kids are learning that second language or that third language, how that area of the brain just gets fired up, and they're very capable of acquiring those languages. One of the things with a Spanish immersion program is it accelerates language acquisition, but it still requires dedication. So in this time, I know people are looking for any preschool that's open. But for us, we're sort of a special program. So we are asking families that you really believe in this philosophy. This is something you value for your family and for your child. So if you're thinking, we'll just go there for a couple months, and then when we get a spot at that other school, we'll go to the other school. We're asking that you don't take a spot here, because we do sort of believe in this philosophy, and it is stronger when we have groups of children that are here for 2-3 years. So we do ask that if this is just sort of a puente or like a leap into another program you're actually wanting to get into, that you don't take up a space at this school, because we really want to sort of be, we want to be true to the program, and we want to give these families and children the opportunity to be someplace that they really want to be in, something that they really believe in. So nuestra filosofía. So what are we? People always ask, are you Montessori? Are you Reggio Emilia? What do you do? So because we are in a language immersion program, I, over 20 years of experience, have sort of taken what I love from each philosophy. I've observed how it works with giving children language, and I've kind of created our own. So there's a lot of the organization that you've seen. A lot of our math comes from the Montessori philosophy. You saw the kids playing outdoors, so you've got this like outdoor sort of, philosophy. You saw sort of, the kids are allowed to explore, and we observe and see what it is that they're looking for. So that's sort of pulling from the Reggio Emilia. So we sort of have taken a little bit of everything and created this unique program. We believe children grow through experiences, but they have to be natural, physical, and relevant to the child, and they have to take risks. So we use real tools like those stethoscopes. We use hammers. We do leather work sometimes. We have the kids build, it's really the way that they build self-esteem. I mean, you can tell kids, oh, that's wonderful. But when they can actually pick up a hammer and nail and actually build something, that's where their self-esteem comes from. So we do try and give them these opportunities. We don't just throw these tools out them and say, okay, here you go. I mean, we teach them, we direct them, and we say, hey, would you guys like to build something? This is how you build it, and the kids are very responsible. It really helps with self-regulation when you go, okay, I trust you. Here's how you do it. Now let's work together and see what we can build. We want the children to build that self-esteem. We also want them to have freedom in the space and to take challenges. So we create an environment that just beckons to their curiosity. We want them to be lifelong learners. We want them to just think the world is the coolest place ever, right? So we create an environment where they're allowed to explore and touch and make slime and observe and discover and make challenges and make mistakes and grow from them. We strive for a positive mindset here. All of my teachers have been trained in positive mindset. And we strive to listen and ask questions and read books and we mediate with them and we problem solve and we constantly are like, oh yeah, how are we going to fix that? Or how are we going to get that to stick? Or what do you think we can use? Just to sort of get that brain really, really thinking about how to solve problems and how to explore new things. We encourage children to try everything and we watch their motives. So a lot of people say, what is your discipline policy? And it's funny, we often don't have that many discipline problems because our kids are allowed to take challenges. There's so many things in the environment that beckons to them. And we teach them, hey, if you're playing with something and somebody wants it, they can ask for a turn and you just say, hey, I'm playing with it right now. When I'm finished, I'll give you I'll pass it to you. And just giving them that sort of freedom to own something and then to share it really leads to quite a cooperative sort of environment. And, we still have occasional, skirmishes or disagreements. And what we call them are ideas. So when we hear kids starting to argue over something, it's usually because they can't agree on whose idea they should follow. So it's really a problem of ideas. Or a problem of communication. So we go in and we're like, hey, we hear lots of ideas. What's going on? Tell us about it. And that way they tend to communicate a lot more and we can actually figure out what the motive is behind sort of the altercation. So what makes us unique? What makes us different from other schools, other language immersion schools? It's really sort of our all-encompassing philosophy and our desire to give the children some space outdoors, to give them experience with animals and things like that. So we have our outdoor classrooms right now, but we also have our outdoor classroom garden. So we have a beautiful vegetable garden and we're just expanding it. We've expanded it by about 1,800 square feet. And we're creating this just amazing outdoor garden space. It was part of our original philosophy when I started the school 11 years ago. I wanted to bring more science and nature and art into Spanish immersion programs because I didn't quite see what I was looking for. And we want to stay true to that philosophy so that even though we've opened up a center now, we still want those kids to feel like they can explore and be out in nature. So we are able to go on nature walks around our campus, which is great because we used to take the kids to all the local parks and farms and gardens around the Bay Area. And it's been a little bit tricky the last 8 months. So we are so fortunate to be on a beautiful campus to be able to continue that feeling of nature walks and being out in sort of the community. Every Friday we have music class. Maestra Haya comes in on Fridays. We do music every day, but she is an actual professional, music teacher. So she comes in, she gives the class in Spanish, and she's teaching the kids sort of quarter notes, half notes, full notes, and they don't even know it because they're just playing games and singing songs. So it's a part of the school that I really like. I was really glad to find her and bring her in. We do cooking with the kids about every other week. I put up the picture of the children grinding corn. So this type of year, we do sort of an exploration of corn. It's such an important staple in many countries in South America and Central America that we sort of explore it every fall. So the kids grind it, and then we talk about all the things that come from corn. It's very interesting. We have a whole poster about all the different ways that people grind corn around the world. And last Friday, we made cornbread with the children. This Friday, we're actually doing tortillas. So we're sort of breaking down the corn on different levels of the sort of texture and grinding and making different products with the kids. We used to go on field trips. Hopefully that will return maybe next year, maybe when your children come for the following school year. I'm hoping they come back. So the other thing that we do here is we use tools, like I said, real tools. We sing and tell stories. We have all those stages around so we can act and sort of explore. We love nature. We observe all things in nature. You will have a rock collection. You will have a snail collection. The kids love sort of observing what's happening around us in nature. We do the process-based art. Like I said, I believe in it. I was trained in it about 10 years ago and started implementing it. And I just think it's one of the best things for children. There's also so much you can learn when you're watching your child do art that I shared with my teachers. And I'm actually presenting at the California Association of Bilingual Educators Conference, the importance of process-based art in language development and in learning about the children in school. We solve problems, we ask about ideas. We try to avoid the word no, because we're trying to get to what the kids are sort of wanting to do. We are active and we get very dirty. So that's one of the things that with our school, we definitely get dirt under our nails. So the outdoor classroom garden, usually we would walk down and we'd look at it. So I wanted to show you, this is a video of the garden that we're building. We've kind of got the infrastructure in. So we've been waiting for the rains to come to plant all the plants because the soil was very dry. So we said, okay, let's wait until the rainy season. So hopefully we'll start planting all of the orchard and the edible bushes and things this November, December. So here is Sophia. She's going to tell us about our garden.
I have seen the mariposas. Welcome to the garden of los mariposas, butterflies. So you all remember we have a garden. So we've been adding an outdoor classroom to the garden. So we picked some fencing and some gates. And if we come over here, we find a nice little bench where we can read or even sometimes do a walk. Then we always need a stage. In the night process, we always have a stage because the kids always love to act and do plays. And then over here, we have a place where we're going to play keys. Around this fencing, we might get apple trees. Who knows what? We have to get over there. We get it easy.
So that's actually our YouTube channel, but that's our outdoor garden. So like she said, we're going to be planting an orchard this winter, and then the grape house will be covered in nasturtiums and peas this winter, and then grapes next summer, and then blueberries and kiwis along the fences. So we're very excited to be building this space. I've had some really generous donations as well from families in the community to contribute to that space as well. So these are the outdoor classrooms that you saw that Edda was walking around and doing. I love this photo in the middle of the kids kind of doing their work as the chickens are in the background. It's funny how they just kind of, are outside in the element and still learning and creating. Here's a few photos from our nature walks. This is our music class. So our music class is held outside right now. And the kids go into this beautiful space that we have to learn and listen and play music. We have a piano in our classroom. It's sort of our learner piano, to teach the kids, how to sit and sort of play the piano. So these are our 4 programs that we're currently offering. So we have our twos program, our preschool program, our pre-kinder program, and our kinder program. You can see sort of the breakdown. It's the twos, the threes, the fours, and then the fives. The main difference in our twos program, you can see that it's very play-based. It's a lot of music and art and gardening. Really, it's sort of that introduction to the school. They explore a lot. We're sort of starting to focus on self-care. Can they feed themselves? Can they use the bathroom? In that program, you do not need to be potty trained. But if they are, great. And if they're just starting, or if there's a point at which we feel like your child's ready, we'll communicate that with you, and you can work with the teachers in order to get your child potty trained. People sometimes ask, when do I know my child's ready? When you start to see signs of independence. So if your child is starting to want to explore more, if they're spending more time sort of away from you, and they're sort of looking to get to know the world, those are the signs that they're sort of ready. If they still really love that closeness, they're very cautious. They don't like new environments. They don't like new people. They don't like new things. They might need just a little bit more time before they come into school. For our preschool program, it becomes a little bit more play and inquiry based. So we start to look at, the kids start to sort of, start talking about letters. They sing songs. They start asking questions. As you saw, they were doing the slime. So they're doing things that are a little bit more advanced than the 2-year-olds. The 2-year-olds do a lot of sensory, but they don't do slime because it just gets quite messy, and in the hair and in the mouth and in all other places with the 2-year-olds. So you start to see a little bit more didactic experiences with our preschool classroom. In our pre-kinder classroom, when those kids hit 4, they have a natural sort of interest in writing their name. They start to begin wanting to know about letters and numbers. So that's where we begin sort of our direct instruction. So that means that, for about 15 minutes for both math and science, we have the teacher sit down, kind of gather the children and talk about, letters or numbers or patterns or letter sounds. We use a program called Learning Without Tears. It's a very hands-on approach to teaching the children how to properly grip a pencil or a marker or a paintbrush, and then how to properly form the letters. It was one of the things that I noticed with my own daughters, and some of the feedback that we saw or received from the kids going to kindergarten. Kindergarten has become very academic and very sort of a rushed curriculum. So the teachers aren't taking sort of the time to really look and see if the kids have these proper hand grips on writing utensils. And so they can form pretty bad habits, and those habits stay. And so we're sort of taking the opportunity as the kids get interested in letters to teach them how to write them properly from the get-go. So there's letter formation, there's letter recognition. We used to go on field trips quite a bit with our pre-kindergarten group. Hopefully we'll be able to do that again. And they do a lot more science in the pre-kindergarten group. So they're talking a lot about the corn, they're talking about the chickens, they're talking about momentum and velocity, and they've got ramps. And last week it was all about building blocks. So there was all sort of different centers where they could build and explore construction. And then in our kinder classroom, our kinder this year was sort of a complementary program because most of the kinders were cut to half days. So the kids come in the beginning of the year when it was all distance learning, we had them the full day where they did their computer work, and then they had all the experiences that we provide in their free time. We have a few kids that are going to outside kindergartens and then coming to us for the rest of the day. So we're providing them with the language and literacy support that they need. We're also providing them with the science experiments and time out in nature and art and music. So it's been a very complimentary program to the kinders in Spanish immersion in the community. And then a lot of our kindergartners who are with us in preschool and then went to English kindergartens are coming to us on their spare time. And the parents are so thrilled to be able to continue that language. So the daily schedule. So our schedule, we have 2 schedules this year. We're from 8:30 to 1 or from 8:30 to 3:30. So those are the 2 sort of daily schedules that we're offering. We are ending at 3:30 this year because having the classrooms outdoors and the amount of disinfection that has to happen at the end of the day is a lot. We're also requiring our teachers to wear masks from 8 in the morning until 4 p.m., which is exhausting. They're working really hard. So we've cut our schedule a little bit to allow for that cleanup, that organization, sort of disinfecting all the toys and things that are outside for the safety of the children. So what are we doing? What does it look like? So one of the main things that the county, the CDC, and licensing has asked is that families and visitors don't come onto campus. That's part of the reason why we have to do virtual campus tours now. So they do not want adults on campus, basically. So we are offering a curbside pickup. We have a great little curbside area where you can safely drop off and pick up your child. When at drop off, we do take mandatory entry checks. So we have a few questions. We take the children's temperature and then we have them either sanitize their hands or wash their hands as they arrive. We've created the 3 separate outdoor classrooms with set teachers. So we have these 3 cohorts that allow for, for the safety of that group, minimum exposure, and contact tracing. We have a lot of outdoor play with the separate play spaces. Our toys belong to that group. So we separated out the toys so that each group sort of has a set of toys. And they're only sort of shared once they've been disinfected and, and are ready for the next group. We've had to individually label boxes of school supplies. So the crayons and the markers and the scissors are actually in each child's box. Before we'd have containers in the center. We're doing this just to add to, some safety. And then we were able to get electrostatic sprayers for our space. So every afternoon, the tables and the play space is disinfected with BioS solution with in an electrostatic sprayer. So basically the electrostatic sprayer sort of ionizes the solution so that it encompasses the tables and the chairs. So you're not just getting a surface cleaning, you're getting sort of an all-encompassing cleaning of the space. The other thing that we were also able to acquire were Aeris Pure and Clean air filters. So if in the morning it gets too cold or we get some crazy storm, this storm right now wasn't actually too bad. The kids were outside, but sometimes it can get pretty cold and pretty windy and crazy. So we've purchased air filters that actually kill COVID. So we were able, this company had sort of, the space station technology, and they hadn't quite had approval yet for COVID, but they said it's coming. So we were able to sort of purchase those filters, and then within a few weeks, it was released that they are effective against COVID. So we're very happy to have those in our spaces indoors for when we need to be indoors or for when our teachers are indoors. So who are we? So our team, our equipo Jardín de Mariposas, consists of 2 teachers in each classroom and then 2 directors. So Eda, who was guiding us through the campus, and myself, Melissa, are the directors of the school. And then our Águilas and Búhos, which is our pre-kinder and our kinder program, are run by Marcy and Daisy. Our Canarios, which is our threes program, is run by Yaya, and it's actually Yaya, Angie, and Kim. And then the Colibris is Alejandra and Estefania. We represent, all of my teachers are native speakers. We represent Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Colombia. So our enrollment process. So for the current school year, if you're looking to join us now, we have a space in our threes program and in our twos program. You can email me and say, hey, we actually would like to get started. And we can visit a tour of the school with your child, and then I can send you the enrollment link to get in. If you are considering the 2021-2022 school year, we have an open house on January 23rd, where you actually get to come to campus, see the space, and meet the teachers. What we're going to do is we've divided up the open house into like 45-minute slots. So there'll be a set number of people in each slot, each time slot, and you'll be able to come in and sort of play in the space with your child, meet the teachers, and see if this is the right environment for you. In February, we open enrollment, and then we usually have confirmation of enrollment for the fall, for the school year, beginning in February 22nd, more or less. We also offer summer camps. Our summer camps will start on the 14th of June this year. They actually go all the way through elementary school. So if anybody has older siblings, or of people looking for that Spanish immersion summer camp, we do offer them. We don't usually have our 2-year-olds start in the summer, just because it's more outdoors and dynamic and a lot of movement. But we do, if they've been in the school anytime in the spring and they want to continue through the summer, they can do that. So how can you follow us? So we have an Instagram, a Facebook, and we also did a YouTube channel in the spring when we were doing distance learning. So we have a ton of videos on our YouTube channel of stories and music time and letters and a lot of adventures that us teachers took in our neighborhoods with, ducks and, woodpeckers and things like that. So you can always check that out if you're interested. And then here's some photos of our space and the kids playing in our space.